When you're changing your guitar strings, you want to know about the string. When you're changing your guitar strings, it's important that you put the right string in the right place. And that's actually pretty straightforward, okay? So if you look on your packet of guitar strings, you will see the different gauges of string, and the gauge basically means the thickness of the string, okay? Now, these particular ones would be described as 10 to 46. The thinnest string is gauge 10, and the thickest string is gauge 46. So all you have to really do is look at the guitar, and you'll see that as you hold the guitar this way, the string that's nearest to your face is the thickest string. The string that's nearest to the floor is the thinnest string, and all the others run in between in sequential order, okay? And that's basically it. So if you only broke one string and you only intended to change one string, let's say you broke your D string, well, you know that 46 is the thickest one, so that's the low E string. You know that 36 is the next thickest one, so that would be the A string, and therefore 26 is going to be the D string, so that is the one that you would replace. It's very rare that you would actually break your D string. It's probably going to be your high E string that you break most of the time. In this case, is gauge 10. However, different packets of strings have different gauges, because some people prefer to play, and they prefer the sound of, thicker strings, because thicker strings have a slightly better sound to those people. I don't personally hear a lot of difference between gauge 10 and, say, gauge 12, but some people do. And sometimes that's not the reason. Sometimes you play a specific style of music. So if you're playing heavy metal, for instance, or you play a lot of fast lead guitar solos, well, thinner strings are going to be easier to manipulate and to move around. It's not to say it's impossible on thicker strings, because there are players that definitely do that. But it's down to personal preference. So that is a little bit about string gauges. Some people also ask me, what strings do I buy? I've used Ernie Ball strings for a long time. I like Ernie Ball strings. I've never had a problem with Ernie Ball strings. I have tried some more expensive string brands, but I haven't noticed any significant differences personally. I'm sure there are people out there who are wizards with the tiniest of intricacies with sound who would tell me that there are definite differences, and that's completely fine. But to me, these, and I think, to be honest, for most people, an Ernie Ball pack of strings is a good option. They're not budget strings, but they're not like super expensive. So Ernie Ball is a good starting place. You might also look at D'Addario strings in a similar kind of price range, or Roto Sound as well. Another note on strings is that, generally speaking, acoustic strings are going to be slightly thicker, just because they want that thicker sound for the acoustic, generally speaking. But sometimes people do, to make it easier, put electric guitar strings on an acoustic. You can actually do that. It just depends, you know. They might feel a bit flimsy and a bit weird, but you have to experiment over time. But there we go. Now you know a little bit about guitar string gauges.